I get so tired of hearing from women with husbands they want to leave or who don't live happily with them. Why are you marrying people who you can't stand? What delusions are you telling yourselves in the beginning that keep the dreams of white knights on white horses alive? Try living with him first. The most important part, what are you ignoring or not acknowledging, what are you denying, in order to stay with him? Understand there is mind control that makes you pick the wrong partner. You think that this society we live in is all there is, that's what you were born for, so he seems okay for you? The society we live in has been socially engineered to be very toxic ever since the Second World War. I've seen it degenerate decade by decade. It's been planned this way. Why should you be a victim of a regime that deliberately decided to anesthetize all of its population through drug use? Look at how he reacts when he's angry. Does he scare you? How emotionally mature is he? Look at how much he drinks. When does he drink? Does he drink when there are problems? Because last I checked that's not a very good way to deal with your problems, to mood alter your emotions and then turn around and let the problem continue. What does he do about them? Get the delusions out of your eyes, people. And that goes for you guys too. There are many women who have low self-esteem and the partner they pick out is someone they can feel better than. Is that what you want in your relationship? Someone who always blames you and puts you down? Is that how you want to be treated? No matter what you do for her, it's never good enough? Do you want to live that every day? I've heard of women who beat men up. Is that what you want? Some woman who thinks the way to make you change is to take it out on you. You were born to be her punching bag, were you? Look at his behavior. Does he make dirty jokes? Does he talk like his penis is the ultimate force in the universe? Does he brag about how he can make women come? Does he leer at women walking by when you're with him? If he does, you're with a cheater whose ego is dependent on his sexual conquests. Yeah, but even cheaters need homes and that's where you come in. You make a home and have his family with him, while he's out screwing around behind your back. Alternately is the woman who prides herself on her beauty and flirts with other men, even in your company. Do you think she's just trying to make you jealous or maybe that she doesn't care what you think? Do you think that jealousy has anything to do with real love? How does he behave around his male friends when you're there? Does he gang up on you? Does he center you out when he's with them? Does he treat you like you're shit in front of his friends? Does he humiliate and laugh at you? These are all very telling signs about how he'll treat you. What does he say about women in general? Does he respect women, say they're intelligent, or does he talk about seeing that chick's pink thong while she was driving her cafe racer last week? Is it always about sex? Is that all he sees about women? Just someone to fuck? Does he need to watch porn before you make love? Guys, does she take off with your credit card and rack up a lot of debt for you to pay off? She is either getting back at you or she thinks because you're a man, you can pull money off of trees. This is no way to respect your partner or ultimately, your relationship. Does he always seem to be looking for something? Where's his focus when he's with you when you're out? Looking around or on you? You know it? Those of you who are suffering in your relationships, you already know what I'm talking about. He does these things but he still talks nice to you when you're alone? What's the matter? Don't you think you deserve respect all the time? Or just when he wants to have sex? Is that the only time he respects you? When he wants to have sex? Does he call it making love but all his exes he calls it having sex? What do you think he's going to do when he leaves you? Look at the way he/she talks about their exes. Have you ever asked them if they think this way about you? Do you get the feeling they're lying to you? Does he brag about the time when, listen to his stories of old exploits with women? Were there 2, or maybe 3 with him at one time? Do you think he's going to give up all that fun for just one of you? Listen to his stories. Does she brag about the time she took that guy at the bar for 5 drinks and left him standing? Yes, there's a game going, I buy you drinks, you give me sex. And she played the guy for a fool. Wouldn't it have been more honest of her to tell him she's not interested instead of making a fool out of him? Doesn't that have something to say about the way she sees men in general, and maybe you specifically? Does he like spending a lot of time with his friends rather than with you? Why is that? Do you think he likes to give you a lot of free time and that's fine with you? My niece's ex was like that. Truth was, he was screwing every other woman in town behind her back. Do you think that because you're so pretty he would never look at another woman? Do you think that would stop him? I've had men walking down the street with a gorgeous woman on his arm turn his head and check me out. Some men don't want to be monogamous. There's too much fun to be had not being monogamous. And the thing is, women fall for it. They have sex with them too soon. They don't take time to really figure out what this guy is about. Is he a good guy or is he just a bum looking for a place to hang his hat and someone to wash his clothes while he goes out on the town? Come on. What does he say in front of your kids? Is he treating your boys that life is matter of conquest and the more sex he gets the happier he'll be? Are your boys able to get that message and still look at him and see the inconsistency in what he's saying? What language does he use in front of the kids? Does he say asshole, dick, pecker, beaver, hoe, and worse? Sorry, I don't know all the latest versions of this profanity, that's because I don't make a point of engaging with anyone who uses that language. How about that? Which is a good point. It's the company you keep. If all your friends are saying these things, trying to act cool, bullying women, chasing them around for sex, do you think it's okay? Do you think that that's all there is to life? There's nobody else out there who has more to offer you. This is all mind control, folks. It's all victim/victimizer programming and sexual misery enslavement for women. It has to do with oppression of the divine masculine and the divine feminine. You're buying into a bad deal. You think these are your own decisions you're making, they're not. It's mind control being piped into your head. At some level you know better, and it's a question of what it will take to get you to reach that level. Let's face it, every time you have another catastrophe, what do? You examine your life. If your higher self wants you to look harder, it'll give you more crap to deal with until you finally get it. You're above all of this matrix stuff. Why do you think you should be your boyfriend's victim? Is that okay? Your father treated you like a victim. Haven't you had enough yet? Do you really think you're a victim? Do you want to spend the rest of your life plotting to leave your hubby and complaining to your friends behind his back? And why do you men think you have to play up to this expensive prima donna, just to impress your friends with the most beautiful woman in the city? Is that all this means to you? I've been hit on by a lot of men who think just because I appear to be alone, I'm an easy target. These deluded people think that women should fall at their feet. They are trapped by their own delusions, victims of their own obsessive consciousness. It's a game of conquest for them. They go and brag to their male friends about who they've done. Stop playing up to his ego. Society is codependent. We have rife problems with alcoholism, drug addiction, and refusal to feel one's emotions. They are all interconnected. We're all hooked on drama, until you release yourself from it. If he or she does drugs, or abuses alcohol, you're in a bad relationship. Period. Do you expect those chemicals not to mess with their ability to think straight? Who do you think they're going to become dependent upon the more his abilities diminish? You. And you know what, because they are angry people, they'll resent you for being more capable than they are. And then, if you're not already, you'll become the target of their anger. The divine feminine is rising on this planet, and it will rise when you ladies get wise and stop marrying the wrong men. Stop marrying men you think you're better than. That's your ego. Stop marrying men who you think you can rescue. He has to learn to stand on his own feet. Stop being with people you've made the mistake of having a child with. Anyone can have a child with anyone else, but it takes love to make a relationship, not ego. The only reason you think dating broken people is okay is because you're broken yourself. Fix yourself first and see what life looks like then. How did I end up with my twin flame? Simple. I stopped dating the wrong ones. I see so many posts of women feeling sorry for other women because they're in bad relationships where they're being abused. You won't get pity from me because pity keeps you stuck. You'll get advice on how to leave him. Don't you think you deserve better than this? The only women who link up with these guys are women who need to wise up. I used to be with men like this, and the only thing that kept me with them was one thing: denial. I had to deny a lot, including myself, in order to remain with men who were vulgar, angry, arrogant, and demeaning towards me. I had the misfortune of having to work with these men too, before sexual harassment laws were solid. Let me tell you how they treated me. A bunch of them would be standing at the top of the stairs, and as I approached, the conversation would turn to me. I could feel their energy. They started heckling me, putting me down, laughing and ridiculing me. Except for the one or two of them who were respectful of women, they wouldn't say anything. The rest of them thought they were big men because they were behaving like little boys in the schoolyard. I was confused because to talk to each of them alone, they were okay. It was when they got together that they were abusive towards me. I suffered their fingers being stuck in places they weren't supposed to be. They used to trap me out behind some of the oil tanks and run their hands all over my body. When they were drunk at company parties, they were even worse. I got pulled onto laps and made to look foolish. I'd like to see them try it now. They'd be hurting for weeks if they thought to do that now. I stopped going to company parties. Every time I protested their treatment of me, they gaslighted me, telling me it was just a joke. I ended up turning the lot of them in. They all got spoken to by the company president. All of them hauled into his office and told to leave the female staff alone. There was no good-natured fun, nothing of the sort with these men. It was pure hell working with them. I dieted like mad during that time in my life, blaming my weight for their treatment of me. Eventually I became bulimic and began throwing up everything I ate. I would go on huge binges and then threw it up. Basically, I needed more power. They wouldn't get away with this now, that's for damn sure. Years later, I ended up in the mental health system, because I couldn't adjust to society. Well, thank God. That was what I saw of society, and thank you very much, you can keep it. I have very strong boundaries right now, and I've developed these because of seeing way too much of the bad side of life on earth. I'd rather be alone, thank you. I guarantee you're using denial in your relationship with a man like this. You have to ignore a lot, because if you don't, you know you'd have to leave. What's wrong with a woman living alone? Is that a crime? If you're alone and it takes you a while to find someone who respects you, is that criminal? Besides that, do you respect yourself? Have you been taught to respect yourself by your parents? If they didn't teach you, life will teach you. The easier way is to learn self-respect from people who practice it. I see a lot of people who don't these days, and it's too bad. I'm hoping that's not something that will be forgotten as life goes on. If you can't pick a good partner, God help your children, because they'll be fated to repeating the same mistakes you have until someone gets it right. When that someone gets it right, that pattern will be eliminated from that part of the family bloodline. There are good guys out there. If you're going into clubs and bars to find them, they're not there, believe me. Only the players go out for fun and games. It's excitement they crave. Serious men do serious things. They don't think life is a big party, and the more the merrier. Find better places to meet men. Go to community clean UPS, beach clean UPS, and to places where conscientious people hang out. Be careful of men you might meet walking along the street. I met a homeless man that way. He just happened to be a good dresser and he kept his hair nicely. It's best to go to places where you can observe their behavior before approaching them. Also go to places that are conscientious, open-hearted, and of positive value, not a bar. I would say family events, but then probably single men wouldn't be there. If there are cheaters in that crowd, chances are they won't come onto you because their wives are there and these men are wearing their nice guy hats that day. I'd be wary of singles clubs and dating services. Anyone making money from matching you up is already not on your side. They're on the side of their wallet. The other thing, make sure you work on yourself. If you've got little to offer a man, you can't expect him to jump at the chance to date you. One thing I found was I switched from excitement and drama to quietness and peace. Then I found Mr. Right. You might have to acknowledge that you're addicted to chaos and you like living on the edge. It might sound exciting, but the minute you fall off that cliff and end up at another bottom, it's not so much fun. When you know that you're better than the shit you see around you, what passes for life in this Western world, you won't accept it as normal, because it's not normal. You will find someone else who shares your vision, and you will create a new normal together. That's what we need to be doing now, not accepting the status quo, folks. Reject the status quo. The status quo has been created to keep you enslaved and miserable. It has been created to perpetuate intergenerational abuse. Break the cycle.